So we're joined here today with Peter Leyden, new technologies expert and an expert in future trends and where things are headed. And we're going to talk a bit about the cloud. And why don't you start out by telling our viewers a little bit about your background?
Well, my background is I've kind of followed the digital revolution kind of from the early days. I was at the early original Wired magazine in the early 90s, mid 90s, when we were literally just explaining what the digital revolution was and the importance of computers and the internet and the web and inventing the kind of new media, the web. I work in business at working with global corporations of how to kind of accommodate and change their business practices to work with long-term technology trends.
You know, through that experience, what have you learned that you think our viewers would be interested in, that maybe they could benefit from?
I mean, the fundamental way to think about it is once we started connecting up all these computers, which we did from the earliest days of the internet, eventually two things started to happen, which is essentially what the cloud does. It allows you to connect to other computers, and because that, to get much more powerful computers. Essentially, networking computers together gets much more power.
So you spent a fair amount of time with Autodesk and with some of our customers. What do you see as the big advantages, or at least some of the big advantages, that users in the design space can get from the cloud?
Even though we've been having Moore's Law getting more and more powerful computers in our hands, it pales in comparison to what you can do when you get these network computers going on. I mean, basically the fastest supercomputers in the world now have been superseded by small little networked computing. Networks of computers. You essentially have insane amount of data, access to data that you'd never had before, and actually storage for your own kind of data. So I would say for design, using that power and using that access to more and more wider spans of information is really a great way to go. And then of course, demonstrating it to your customers and showing off in a way that you can harness that kind of power and use that kind of data is going to prove nice to have in the long run.